Okay, today let me talk about plugins. So one of the things about WordPress is you want to be able to add things to your site. You want to have a form, you want to have some marketing, you want to have some slideshow and things like that. So one of the things about WordPress, they have the ability to add capabilities to your website using plugins. And I'll list some popular ones, and I'll briefly talk about some of the ones that I have used in the past and the ones that I use. I don't know, I found this website. It said 24 must-have WordPress plugins for business websites in 2019. And I don't know what this one is. It's a form site. Monster Insight is an analytics site. Yoast is the one I use all the time. So Yoast is a very popular one. You should have Yoast in there. It is, and I have a lot of videos on how to use Yoast and stuff. So Yoast is the one I use for search engine optimization. Constant Contact is an email service, and so if you sign up for a Constant Contact email, you can make list of people that are, and it's really good for you got to configure it though, and you got to pay. Many plugins you either have to pay or they're free with usually pay add-ons. I don't know, this one's a firewall, Updraft Plus. I don't know what that is. It looks like it's an uploading service. WP Rocket. A lot of these plugins are for speed and make your website faster. A lot of them will be using for caching. What that means is that your site can be cached around the world, so that when people go to your site, they don't have to download the data all the way from the United States. Let's say they're in Europe, you can cache your site in Europe, and so when they go there, it just goes to a server in Europe. So there's a lot of there. CSS Hero would be a programming one to help you build, and I'll show you a little bit of programming the last week. I don't know what G Suite is. I guess a Google thing. SEMrush live chat, that might be interesting. I've never had a really live chat in there. And so these seem very popular here. There's a header and footer on one. TablePress. I used to download a table plugin for laying out content on your page. So this one might work. I don't know I haven't used this one, but I used other ones. Basically, it's a way of adding a grid to your data so that you can put things in. WooCommerce is what my wife uses for her website. So again, if you look here on my wife's site, you'll notice there is a where you can go to paintings and you can choose a painting you like. I thought there. Oh, there's a shop section here. Here we go. I don't know her site. She does her own site. So in this case, you can go and shop, and so if you look, you can click on her shop, and then you'll notice you can pay. So if you add to cart, this is using the WooCommerce. It puts up the cart up here, and then you go to checkout and do all of the credit card and everything. So with WooCommerce, you can start that process. And she uses WooCommerce, and then the Square for the transaction. Grammarly, you've probably seen those ads a million times. That's the website that helps you write. And so those are ones that is on this website. I'll list this website, but let's get to the list on WordPress.org. So if I go to WordPress.org, you will see you can go to the plugins section here, and you can search some of the ones you might want to put on your site. The ones I've used in the past. I like the slideshow one. Slideshow. That's if you want to have the pictures kind of flying across. There's a lot of different ones in there. I don't remember which ones I've used. Remember things you look for when you're choosing a plugin, of course. I use this website for research, but then you don't install from here. You have to install from inside the environment. I would look for how many active users, of course. What version is it working with? So like this one, Team Updraft, is WordPress slider plugin, creates SEO optimized responsive slideshows. Nevo, I don't know what that is. Flex sliders, coin sliders, and responsive slides. This one has 900,000 plus active users, so that might be a worthwhile. I don't know how much it costs though, so you might want to go through and see. This one works with the latest one. It's got some good star reviews. So this slideshow might work, so you might want to try that. Usually how it works, they'll give you instructions on how it works. It looks like it adds as a new menu option inside of your menu there, as you can see. And then you add your pictures, and you can add links to the pictures and descriptions as well, probably. And then you could probably configure it with a different type of way you want your slideshow to look. This one looks pretty useful. It has a lot of users, so you might want to try this one. I do not know how much it costs. It just says donate here, so maybe it's free, and you can donate if you want. So again, that's called MetaSlider. I'm not really sure, but that one might be good. So slideshows. Of course, a form is where people fill out information and submit it to you. The most popular one is Contact 7 form. I've used this one for years. It's a very good form. I'll show you that one briefly on how I use it in this video. So that one is a really good one. So Contact 7 is the form I recommend mostly. And then, what was I just saying? Of course, Yoast. Yoast is a must if you want your site to be inside of Google. As you can see, it has 5+ million active users. Yoast is probably the most important plugin to have. So for your assignment this week, I want you to try some plugins and send me a link to a page that has the plugin that you tried, and then maybe write a little bit to me about what you found out about that plugin. So maybe try some different plugins, see what you want to do. Another one's a good one, Calendar. Calendar, where you put a calendar on your site. Events Calendar. I've seen a lot of students use those. You can also, if you want to have meetings, you can put like special meeting times. So it just depends. A calendar would be a good one to put on there. Maybe a clock. You can put a clock on there. It shows you a certain time. WooCommerce, like I said, and so on. So I want you to try some different plugins this week. Let's get to WordPress, and I'll show you how to install a plugin. So, oops, not there. I know I'm logged in somewhere here. Here we go. No, yeah, this is what I was working on earlier. So, again, to install a plugin, you go to your dashboard. Inside your dashboard, you'll notice you have the option over here for plugins right here. Now, you'll see I have a little 2 there. That just means some of my plugins that I have need updating. Now, by default, there's some built-in plugins that usually happen when you install WordPress onto a server. This one is for anti-spam. It's usually used for AskMet, or whatever you pronounce that. It's usually used for blogs. It's a great way of keeping, because one of the things about blogs is that people can post comments and so on. So this is kind of the best way to protect your blog from spam. Hello Dolly is another one. It's a screen, administration screen for every page. I guess that's maybe this over here. I'm not really sure. And then limit login attempts is a way to of course, keep your website safe. So these are ones that were default. I didn't add these. They're built into your WordPress. If you want to update them, you can just say update now, and it'll go and update it. Update now, and they're updated. To get to new ones, like I want to show you the Contact 7 and things like that, usually you go to where it says add new right here in the upper corner. Then of course I did my research already, but it'll show you some important ones, and of course you can type in what you want. I'm going to type in Contact Contact 7 and Contact 7 form right here. You can say install right here, and it'll install it. And then once you're done installing it, you hit the activate button, and then it'll activate your thing and your plugin. Once it's activated, then you can use it. Now, depending upon where, and a lot of times you need to read the details. There's a view details right here. It'll tell you where it's located. Sometimes it'll put a menu option over here. Sometimes it'll be only in the interface where you're working. You'll notice, at least with this one, and you can see the Contact 7 right there, you can see over here it added a contact button right here. Do you see that? So the first thing I want to do is go to a page before I add a form. So again, this is Contact. It added this Contact 7 here. So if I go to one of my pages, and I'm just going to go to all my pages, under Pages, all my pages. And then I can choose a page. So let's say on my promotion page, I want to have a form that says, "Oh, you want more information? Please fill out this form and send it to me." So I'm going to go down below here to below this picture. I'm going to make this picture smaller. Whoosh! It's way too big. There we go. There we go. Let's make it kind of tiny. Okay. So again, after this, I'm going to put in my contact. So again, I'm going to click underneath my picture, and there's a button that was here, and I'm going to say Contact Form. Now, first you make the form, and then you put it in here. So no, for this one, I kind of made a mistake. You don't need to start with the page. First, you make the form, and then go to the page and put in what you want. So I'm going to update this one for right now, so because I made my picture smaller. So first, I'm going to make the form. So I'm going to go to Contact, and I'm going to say Add New. Yes, I'm going to leave the page here. First, you're going to make it. So by default, it makes a default form, and you can customize it. So the first one is sign up for more info. How about that? That sounds like a good message. So the first thing, at least for this one, you'll see it's kind of tag oriented, and if you know a little bit about web design, that might, the HTML might be nice, but you don't really need to. The first thing you see is it's going to make a box that says your name, your email, the subject of your message, and then a box for your message. That is the default one, and you can use this default one, or you can add some new ones. What I mean by that is I'm going to I'm going to want the person's name and their email, but maybe I also want, and I'm going to hit return here right between the space here. I'm going to say maybe I want their telephone number right here. You can see these are the options that you can add. You got quiz, radio button, checkbox, drop down menu, text area, and so on. All these different options here. Let's say you're asking for the telephone number. You can click on that, and it's going to ask you, well, the name. Is it required that they put their telephone number in there? The name is Tel55. That's just a brand. That's just an ID. You can use these IDs in classes to add some coloring to it. If you know how to do CSS, you can make some CSS and add some coloring to your field, because it's kind of generic, just ugly boxes basically. But right now you can just you can put in some text if you want. So you can say add your phone number, and then check that box, and it'll say add your phone number there. So that'll be text that's in the box originally. So that's when it says use this text as placeholders of the field. It's going to be a box with the information in it, or you can put the text outside. So you can, if you don't want the text in the box, you can delete this. You don't need that in there. You can just leave the default right there. Hit insert tag. Now if you want to put words next to it, you'll notice these samples that you see up here have something called a label around them, and it says required and then label, and it has, like, in the round brackets, you'll see that's the actual box itself. So if you want text around it, you really need to copy this label option. I'm going to copy this label option, and I'm going to copy this label option here. Put that in front. Oh, don't get rid of your square. And then put down your phone number. So that'll be text outside, and then they'll have a box next to it. I don't remember if I checked the box that said required or not. I think I did. So whatever, just think you got to add a label, at least for this Contact 7, if you want text outside, and then inside the box is the actual text. Don't worry about this crazy TEL 950. That is programming that this form uses. So you can add any of these up here: date, time, text area, and so on. Under mail is where you put in your email address so that people can, when they hit the submit button, it's going to go to your email. So that's how the message gets there. So it should put in your email that your website is configured to. If you want, you can actually change it. Then you can actually have a message when it's done. This email was sent from a contact there. So you can have a message. Oh, here's the message. So this is just the default. You can adjust this as well. This is going to be the way it comes to your email. So you'll notice it says where from and so on. And so that's what the mail option is. And then the message is like the message you want after they submit it. You know, in this case, it says thank you for your message has been sent. If there's an error and so on. So these are kind of messages that you would add to your form. And then there's some additional settings. I'm not really sure what all those are, but it's quite easy to make a form here using Contact 7, so you might want to try that one. It's a very good one. Once you hit save, it's going to give you some code. If I can get it to work here. And you'll notice it says Contact 7 there. So you take this line that you see here and you copy it. So you can either right click and say copy code or hit the command C if you're on a Mac or control C if you're on Windows. And copy this line of code right there. Make sure you save it. Then I want you to go to a page you want to put it on. So I'm going to go back to that page that I want. So I'm going to go back to all pages, and I was going to put it on the promotion page. And then on my picture, I thought I shrunk it down. Didn't like that, did it? Did I not update that? Update. I thought I did. Okay, and then I'm going to put the form underneath there. So I can paste my form in there, and then and that's it. And if I save it, update, and preview this page, you should have the form in there, and you'll notice you got your name and you got your email address. All it does is I think look for the @ sign for required. And then it puts your phone number in there and recognizes my stuff already. Test. And then your message, like WordPress. And then hit send. Why is it asking me this? Whatever. Thank you, your message has been sent. So, there you go. Autofill forms. So again, you'll get your message that has been sent. So this is a very easy one. The colors aren't very nice, as you can see. You know, if you know how to do some CSS, you can change the colors and things like that. So that is one. You know, you might want to try again some other ones. I'm going to close this. So if you want, again under plugins, I would say try maybe a slideshow or that. Again, once you install it, click on the view details and it'll give you instructions on how to install the plugin. Remember, make sure that you look for plugins that have you know, a reputable name. There's a lot of plugins out there. Look for how many users, how many stars. You know, I wouldn't install anything that has less than, you know, a couple hundred people installing it. I would look for, you know, thousands to millions of users. Again, the Contact 7 is a very easy one. So try some plugins this week and send me a link to the plugin that you used, and then maybe send me a link to the plugin page, and then maybe send me a link to your page with the sample plugin on there, so that I know that you were practicing.